I don't understand just the very basics. And I think a lot of the instructors go on that assumption that a good majority of students already come into the LSAT prep knowing some level of material, which there are some students that do have some general understanding or some familiarity, but then there are those students that have no understanding or no knowledge. And I think it's hard to grasp those students when the professor or the instructors gearing towards those students that already are coming in with knowledge.
I think that's a good point. Yeah. So a classroom setting, obviously they got to cater to all different people, people who are retaking it for the third time, people who are just looking at it for the first time, people who are scoring in the 160s, people who are scoring in the 130s. Everybody's at different points. And so naturally, they're going to move at the average speed somewhere in the middle, and some people are going to get left behind. And so what that means is that we've got to have a place where we can approach things from the very beginning, from the absolute basics, assuming nothing. And then the people who are ahead of that point, they can skip that lesson or they don't have to come that day. And we can address it from the very beginning. There's another idea that comes to mind for me, which is what it takes to do well on test day under timed conditions with a rule like that, that's a little bit outside the norm, is that you've still seen it before. So that when you walk in on test day, it's not really new and you're not really interpreting it for the first time. Obviously, the LSAT throws curveballs here and there. There are points where there is something new on the test, and you can do your best to be ready for anything or be ready to be thrown a curveball. And I have lists of curveball games I could share with you when you're at that point. But part of this is also that most things on the LSAT are not new. So a rule like that, a conditional sequencing rule or a rule with two different options there that could go either way, if you've done a couple of those already, then when you're doing your next timed exam or you're at the actual test, you're not really reinventing the wheel. You're not really working through it for the first time. You actually have seen it before. And that's most of what we're aiming to do on the LSAT in all sections. Like a method of reasoning and logical reasoning, it could be weird, it could be difficult, but it's not really new if you've done a question like that before. Same thing goes for games. So that's what I'd be looking to do for you, is make sure that we leave no stone unturned so that under timed conditions on test day, you're saying, oh, it's that weird rule I've seen half a dozen times. Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.